I can remember the last road win here. It's been a while. Why is it so tough in the NFL to win on the road?
I think it's tough to win, period, in the NFL. I mean, that's why they call it any given Sunday. I think, obviously, going into a road game, you're taking everything you have with you. You're not going to have any help from the crowd. Those 53 guys, the coaches, the staff that's traveling with you, that's all you got. So I think you got to go in there. You have to be mentally sharp. You have to be able to handle some tough situations. I think Coach Antonio from Michigan State always told us when we were going to a tough road game was weather the storm. There's going to be moments where there are crowds into it, and there's some tough moments for you, but you just got to weather the storm and ride it out and know that it's a 60-minute game and play for the long run. And I think we've shown that we're mentally capable of doing that, mentally tough, and you just got to deal with the ups and downs and play a smart football game.
That Minnesota game last year, which was your first game, 3 interceptions, win the game. Is that the loudest venue you can think of in the NFL?
No. Obviously me playing, that's one road game that I played in that was really loud. But I know, traveling up to Denver's a really loud place. Obviously we saw Monday night, Kansas City broke the record for the loudest decibels. Obviously going to Seattle. I mean, playing in a dome, I think it gets a little bit added noise. But anywhere you go, you're going to have points where it's really loud. Third downs, down in the red zone where you're a little bit closer to the fans and things like that. Situations like that. So you just got to be ready to handle that, and that's what we practice out there with the speakers. You blare on when you're on a road game, so you work on your communication without really being vocal, signals, things like that.
Brian, knowing that you won that game on the road, your only roadster here, does that give you the confidence to know that you can do it, especially with some of the same guys?
Yeah, no doubt. I think anytime you go into something and you've done it before, I think it's kind of you just go out there and it's not something that's new to you. So I think for me, I think more about our game plan, what the defense is doing. I really don't think about where we're playing. So obviously we talked about being on the road. It does present its challenges, but when it comes down to it, it's between those white lines. You gotta execute.
Does the fact that Ray Horton was here last year and ran the defense he's running down there now help you at all?
I don't think so. I mean, you might have a feel for the thing is I never played against him in a game, so. Practice is totally different from a game. I think maybe you try some different things in practice and you end up doing it in the game. So I went back and watched some of our defense from last year. Since we're playing so early in the season, kind of a limited sample in 4 games plus the preseason. So you go back and you see some carryover, but in the same sense, it's different guys. How they see their defensive line might have been different than Ray saw our defensive line. Their secondary and our secondary. So I think core principles are carried over. And we went against those for OTAs, and really, I missed a few of those anyways in training camp. But I also think in that area, you see guys that experiment with certain things, and then you go into the game and it's a little bit different.
Brian, I know it's only been 6 starts for you here, but quarterback's been such a turbulent position for years and years and years, and you're always looking to get better. But do you get the sense that maybe you yourself have kind of calmed those waters a little bit or establishing yourself consistently?
I think it's probably a little too early for that. I think for me, I'm looking towards the long ball. It's only been 3 games this year, 2.5 games last year. So, I think for me, I'm looking to go out there and get better each week, and I think I can. It's not like I sit there and think, well, I've plateaued. I think there's a lot of room to grow, especially when you sit back and watch the film, and you might go out of the game feeling pretty good, and then you're like, wow, I missed this, and this, and it could have been a totally different story. So I think, I'm always trying to continue to improve, and it'll come. I think, the more game reps you get in the system, there's nothing that compares to live game reps, no matter what the situation is, and learning the system, when you get to do a play against a live defense, it kind of opens your eyes to a lot of things, and I think I have a lot of room to grow.
Hey, Brian.
How Ben Tate being back and what bring for you?
Yeah, it's great to have Ben back. I mean, obviously, we saw what he was capable of in that first half of the Pittsburgh game. He breaks off a long run, and Ben knows the system really well. He knows, how to get downhill. He knows where the cuts are. As far as the pass game, he's, definitely involved in that. He knows exactly what he's supposed to do, and he's the veteran in that room, and that's what he should be. So it'll be good to have him back and add him to our arsenal.
Do you expect Jordan Cameron to be more involved? He says his shoulder's feeling better. I don't know if that's affected.
No, I don't think that's affected at all. I think sometimes the games just play out a certain way, and really Jordan's played 1.5
Right.
games. So, I mean, it's still early, and I think you guys all know I have a lot of confidence in Jordan. And when I played last year, he probably was targeted more so than any other person. So, you know, I always feel comfortable having him on the field as a safety valve.
Does Tate give you more of a passing opportunity than the rookies that were
As far as what?
throwing besides Chappelle? They weren't very much involved in the passing game.
No, I mean, I think the thing that Ben brings is experience. I mean, it's a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same system he's been in. So, you know, when he hears a play call, he knows exactly what he's doing, and whether it's a run game or a pass game.
Insofar as this is uncharted territory for you, going into a fourth start within the same season, what are you doing to prepare yourself for the long run?
Well, that preparation was put in the offseason. You know, rehabbing my knee, trying to bulk up a little bit more, knowing that, that you're going to have to play 16 games. So I think, you know, that work is kind of done, and I think as far as the mental part of it is now you get deeper into the season, you can watch more film on teams, you can, you know, be a little more prepared. I think, you know, you're not guessing so much. You're making one or two games or a preseason game here or there, and, you know, kind of guessing on what guys are going to do. You get more film on people, watch more stuff, and I think, you know, that as far as the long haul of the season, you know, that people show more stuff and you get a feel for their tendencies and things like that.
Hey, when you talk about weathering the storm on the road and how that's important, was that Minnesota game, looking back, was that like a perfect example of that, struggling early?
So. I think, you know, especially at the quarterback position, you always have to kind of stay level. You can't get too high and you can't get too low. And you obviously throwing 3 interceptions. You know, the game started off really well, and then you throw through a few interceptions, and then to be able to come back in the end and win the game, you know, on a 2-minute drive. I think you just got to stay pretty even keel and you know, realize that it's a long game. 60 minutes is a long time, and you're going to get your opportunities, and you just have to take advantage of them when they present themselves.
What stands out about this Titans defense, and who are some guys you're looking out for?
Yeah, Jarrell Casey. I mean, he's the one guy, I think, throughout this entire season who's really jumped off the screen. I mean, the guy has a high motor. He's active. He's in there making a lot of plays. And then you look at their secondary; they got 2 veteran guys, and Tim Pollard and Griffin. You know, you have McCourty at one corner. I know Bleedy Ray. You know, he had a concussion, so we're not sure about him. But you got a lot of experience, and you couple that with Ray Horton, who I think is a great coach. Coaching those guys up. I mean, it's a good combination for them to have.
You said you were staying here for the bye. So what was your routine, and you just feel like you took advantage of it?
Yeah, I took full advantage of it. I think for me, that's the second most amount of days in a row that I've been away from this building for a long time. So it was good to do that. I mean, unfortunately, it was early in the season. I really didn't need it physically to recover yet, but it was good to get away and kind of recharge and be ready to go, because now, you know, we got 13 in a row, and 13 in a row is a long, you know, even for a college season. You know, they have a bye and they only play 12 games. So we got to play 13 in a row, and I think, you know, guys took advantage of that, and they're ready to go. We had 2 great days of practice, and guys are, you know, the energy level's up, and the sense of urgency is really going.
Yeah, I assume you still don't read the paper or watch TV, but somebody asked Belichick after Monday night, after New England's loss, whether he would evaluate the quarterback position. Is that...
That's all I'm going to say about that. I mean...
That's what he said.
That's exactly what he
I saw that. Yeah, I think.
I mean, does
I think
that make you
it says it all.
chuckle that someone would even ask?
Yeah.
What about Chuckles on having a higher rating than Brady?
He's still the best in my opinion, so I'm always striving to be as good as he is.
There's no breaking that marriage up to Brady.
I don't know. Yeah.